Welcome in the Players Lounge Letterman edition. And boys, we don't know how to handle a loss, do we? Like this is rare. Usually we get in here, we're jolly, maybe no Sean sipping on something, having a good time. Like it's been a long ass time since we've had to do something after a loss. Was it been over 700 days since the Bulldogs have lost a game? And we're gonna break it all down. Ben Jones, Tavares King, Brandon Boykin right now joining you for the next 30, 40 minutes. Appreciate everyone jumping in with us. Leave your comments, whether it's to do with the game, the playoffs. We'll be breaking all that down tonight. We're probably going to start first with the game versus Alabama, give our initial thoughts, kind of what we liked, what we didn't like, and then we'll kind of give our opinions of what we saw from the committee. Should the Dogs have still gotten in? Should they have dropped from 1 to 6? Could they still be in the top 4? We'll discuss all that here tonight. So once again, like, subscribe, leave your comments in there. We will get through them all throughout the night. And if you're drinking something good, please let us know as well if you're still getting over the pains of the loss to the Crimson Tide last night in Atlanta. Who went? TK, Boykin, either of you guys go?
I wasn't there.
Yeah. I didn't go inside.
I was so tired after 6 hours of events. I just ended up going home. I was like, I didn't want to sit on my couch, order pizza, watch the game with my dogs. So I ended up doing that and just chilling. And I'm glad I did it because it was been a little bit too depressing to be in that stadium. Let's go around the horn real quick. We'll start with Ben first. Just initial reaction to what you saw Saturday night.
Yeah, we knew we had to play a better game than the week before, and explosive plays and turnovers. Alabama executed on those, and we didn't. That's what wins those types of game. Momentum shifts, and if you have those in big-time games, you're not going to win those games.
Had that turnover. I don't know if either of y'all have gone back and seen it. I was watching the coach's copy today. We had it blocked up.
Yeah, he had the wrong hand up too.
He had the wrong hand. Carson also needs to look in his belly. But I mean, they had it blocked up.
Yeah.
Like that could have been a big play. Big play. Boykin, your thoughts on the game, initial reaction.
Yeah, I'm not mad because I feel like we tricked it off. I don't think Bama necessarily won that game and took it from us. Like we lost it. Like there were plenty of opportunities for Georgia to capitalize on, just being in the red zone, being plus 50. So it's like we just looked like a completely different team than we did all year in terms of discipline, penalties. We don't jump off, you know what I'm saying? We don't do false starts. Yeah. And obviously you hate for the field goal to be what it was and miss that. But just stuff that we waited all season for the biggest game to do, it just was disappointing. So rightfully so, we don't deserve to be in there. So I'm not mad about it.
No. TK, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody hit on it. You saw a Georgia team that didn't do things that it did all year to get where they are. Penalties. I think that big first half penalty that pushed us back 5 yards. We saw we know the implications of that. And just I mean, execution. Obviously, turnovers. We talked about that. And just execution. I think that I don't even think that from a play calling standpoint, this was our best game. But hey, those guys brought it. They played a little bit better than we did. Defensively, edge pressure, things like that. Things that we needed, we just didn't do. So I'm with Boykin in saying that you can't be disappointed in how the year went. To rattle off 29 straight is crazy, but to come out and kind of play the way we did offensively, I think is a little disappointing.
Well, and I want to ask this question, and anyone can jump in and kind of go around answering it. If you want it to, was it us or Alabama? Because that's a damn good football team, and that's a really good defense. Like I'm watching the tape again today, kind of watching the all-22 to really see, like, man, what was it? Bobo? Was it players? Was it them? And I'll tell you what, boy, like there was not a lot of open receivers. Like those DBs for Alabama and Boykin, they are damn good. Like, and I think our guys were banged up too. Like Brock looked very hesitant, and I love the fact that him and McConkey went out there banged up and gave it their all, but you could tell they weren't 100% going against probably the best defense in the country. So, like, I'll ask the question again. Was it Georgia that beat themselves, or was it that Alabama was just a really damn good football team and they had a better day?
In my opinion, I would say we beat ourselves. Like, again, we did things that we don't normally do. We turned the ball over. We had penalties, costly penalties. I think we would say we didn't play well, but on a sympathetic side, like you said, you're looking at a Georgia team that's beat up, that's banged up, that's missing a rah-rah. You didn't mention that. That's got a banged up Lad McConkey. We saw him limping several times. We saw Brock Bowers limping several times. So you are missing elements of your offense that make it go. So from a sympathetic side, I think that it's tough. It's tough when you look at it from that realm.
Yeah,
for sure.
Boykin, Ben.
I think it was us for sure. Like we, I mean, if you sit here and you tell me that Alabama is the best team in the nation, then it's a down year for college football. Because what I saw yesterday didn't impress me in terms of me thinking like this is the Bama of old. Like Jalen Milroe had like 20 rushing yards and 129 passing yards. Like he didn't do anything that would just be like just over the top talent wise for our team to compete with. Like we beat ourselves. TK said it, I said it, Ben said it, you said it. We deviated from what Georgia football was the whole year, and we waited to the last minute to do that. And so even with all of that, you still could have won the game. There were still opportunities to win the game. So it's like I honestly, moving forward, I think Bama should be in the playoff, but I don't think that they're the best team in the country, and because we lost to them, we don't deserve it.
And I'll say this: there's a 10-point swing in that game, guys. Like let's be clear. Buddy dropped that ball that didn't get reviewed. 7 points. Our false start, 10 points. Like in my opinion,
that was a fourth down too. Let's not forget, like that was fourth down. Georgia could have had the opportunity to go down there and score points before half too.
Correct.
So that's a big swing of play right there.
Maybe 14 points. So in my opinion, I still think we're the better team. So yes, we should have won, but we shot ourselves in the foot, guys. Self-inflicted wounds, bro. I mean, and they'll beat you. We've all played ball a long time. They'll do it to you, and they did it to us on Saturday.
So Ben, I want to go to the comments real quick. JD Art asks, at this point, is going against Bama just a mental block for the Dogs? So I think 0-4 now in Atlanta. Obviously, Bama's 17-0 since 2008 in Atlanta.
That's a crazy stat right there.
I think Kirby's 1-5 against Nick Saban. Like, is it a Nick Saban thing? Is it an Alabama thing? Like is that the roadblock?
I think it comes down to in big games, we try to not lose the game instead of win the game. Like they had their backs against the wall. They knew their only chance was to go out and win. I felt like we were playing conservative. We had some conservative calls. Like we let them. Like we gave them a light box the whole night on defense. We let them be in combinations, and we let our defense. They had to fight. Like we didn't put them in situations on certain things. We were like, hey, y'all gonna have to hold up and make an arm tackle when you're getting double teamed. So we were playing conservative, not trying to give up the big play, not letting Milroe beat us with his legs. Instead of like, hey, you got to handle what we're going to bring to y'all. We're going to be the aggressor here. We're going to bring the heat. You're going to play on our terms. And we didn't do that.
Well, I thought they did a little bit more defensively in the second half. Like I felt like second half, like screw this, double spy. Let's just get after their ass.
Make this.
Which I like a lot more.
Like when we play a Lamar Jackson or somebody like that, the whole focus is like, hey, let's keep him in the pocket. He sits back there and holds the ball forever and finds completion. Hey, they are they can play quarterback,
right?
Yeah.
Just
Boykin, let's Boykin talk about that, because I mean there was multiple times where guys are wide open, but you look at your damn watch, it's been 5 seconds in the pocket. So how tough is that when you're preaching all week to a defense saying, hey, we can't let this guy run. We can't let this guy run. This is going to be the game plan, so we keep him in the pocket. But like, what are you thinking as a DB, knowing that like, holy shit, I gotta buck up for like 5-6 seconds? How difficult is that on your end?
Yeah, bro, that's awful, and it's damn near impossible. Like with a mediocre receiver, like it didn't matter who we were playing. You can't cover anybody for 5-6 seconds, let alone Alabama receivers. And I think they did a great job of that. But I was saying the whole game, like we're giving Milroe way too much respect. Like go get this man and make him uncomfortable, because when he's uncomfortable, that's when he makes the mistakes. Like forget that spy stuff. This man is not Mike Vick. He's not Lamar Jackson. And so I think, like you said, second half, they kind of start changing the game plan. But by that time, like the momentum had already shifted. And
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about offense, but I mean, you talk about that first drive we had. I don't know where that changed in terms of game plan, but something changed. And kind of like Ben said, we went from like trying to win an attack to being like, all right, let's kind of preserve this for the game. So I don't know what it was weird. It was a weird shift. And everybody felt it.
Murray, speak to that a little bit. I mean, you probably spent the most time with Coach Bobo.
Yeah.
There's all kind of Coach Bobo questions, obviously, over here in the chat. Yeah. I mean, and I spoke to it a little earlier. How hard is it to call plays when you have a depleted receiving core?
And I think the hard part and this is why, we all watch the TV copy. And usually when even you're at a game, like what do people focus on? They're kind of focusing on the quarterback. They're focusing on the offensive line, defense, like that. You're following the ball. So you're not really watching as the average fan is. You're not really watching the all 22. You're not looking at routes developed down the field unless you're like a really trained eye that can do it all. Hell, it's difficult for me at times as a broadcaster. Like I have multiple views up in the booth with different camera angles, so I can kind of glance back and forth pretty quickly. So you have to be able to have the capability of going back and watching the all 22. So I went back there today and watched that. And I'll be honest, like it's hard to call plays when guys can't get open either. Like I know like there's a sense of like, why is he being so conservative? Why are they running the football? Ladd and Brock looked banged up.
Yeah, I mean,
go watch it. Like if you can go watch the all 22, there's not a lot of times where our guys are creating separation, and Bobo knows that. He's like, I got banged up receivers. This is the best defensive backfield maybe in America. They're not getting the job done. So like I have to play a little bit more conservative and to go against some of those third down calls too. I don't know how much you guys have studied those. There were missed blocks by our guys. Like some of the receivers too, like coming down, having to, crack a linebacker or defensive end, which ain't easy. They whiffed. And all of a sudden a pulling tackle or guard is having to block that guy instead of getting to the next level to get his guy. And then he's running scot-free. So like a lot of the play calls were good. Our guys didn't execute it when it came to blocking a couple of times, and not the offensive line. I would say more our receivers. I think the receivers had a little bit of their worst day, and once again, I think a lot has to do with they were pretty banged up in the game.
I would 100% say that it wasn't our best day out wide. You mentioned it. I distinctly remember a dig route Ladd running, and he can't even come out of it. And Terrion Arnold's all over it. He can't even come out of it, and then. I kind of wish Noshawn was here to talk about some of those third and twos, because it didn't look the same to me. 30, Dejan just used to just go stick it in there and go get two.
Right?
Like it didn't look the same. So I don't know. So I wish Sauce was here to speak on that a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. Like you said, it is tough up there in that booth. It is tough up there. To call plays when you got guys that are banged up, guys that are usually getting it done, and you can go to them, you can call on their number, but they're not getting it done.
But that's a part of football, right? And so we've been bragging on Georgia's depth this whole season, right? Talking about how deep we are, talking about guys can step in and make the plays. Like that's a part of it, bro. The reason we won a national championship and Bama's best receiver got toward his AC. Like these things happen in the game, and so it's like
down 2 that year.
Yeah, they were down 2, and we won.
It happened. You know what I'm saying? It happened. Regardless, we still had chances to win this game. That's what's so crazy. We still had chances, so we can't blame the refs. We can't blame that fourth down pass that hit the ground.
It is what it is.
Yeah, like those are moments that could have changed the outcome, no doubt about it. But like they outplayed us.
They did,
which is just weird to see. I mean, it did. I cannot even. It's been like 3 years since we've seen that. And listen, boys, at some point it was going to end. It's just tough that it ended in this game because something I've been trying to tell Georgia fans: if you're going to lose a game and the streak was going to end, I wish it would have happened for Ole Miss. Hell, I wish it would have happened against Georgia Tech. Like this was the one because of how good certain teams are in certain conferences this year. This was the one you could not afford to lose. And I don't know how. What's y'all's longest streak of your life of like, how many games, whether it's like a peewee team or high school, like how many consecutive wins you've had, but at some point you're going to have an off night. And it just happened. You had an off night against a team that if you look at the stars from high school is, the highest ranked blue chip ratio, I think, of all time. Alabama has more 4- and 5-star players on that roster than any roster of all time. So, like, that was not the night to not have your stuff. I don't care what if they are, having a down year themselves or not. Like, they're still talented as hell. And Georgia had a bad night.
You gotta. I mean, you just said it, Murray. They're talented as hell over there. You got to give credit to them boys. They bring their third corner in, and he goes to work. He goes to work over there. Number 9. I don't even know the young boy's name, but he goes to work. So in those regards. Yeah, I think that may have been our wideouts' worst performance. So yeah.
Ben, what do you think about the offensive line? I thought they played well.
Yeah, they protected. I know Ernest got bulled on one early.
Yeah,
and gave up a sack. You can tell a difference when Mims is not in the game. He's a guy who makes Carson feel comfortable. He knows you don't have to worry about him. He's not going to get pushed in the pocket. So. And that hurts us I feel like we run right behind him and Tate on a lot of 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1. So with no Mims, I love Mims to death. He's a great kid. He works hard. He's smart. He brings juice to that O-line, and he's gifted. Like he's one of those guys you looking like, man, he's special. He's got all the talent in the world. And yes, Trust plays his butt off, but he's not Mims. I'm sorry, but you can look at me and some other guys and you be like, hey, I played beside Cordy, Clint, Justin Anderson, those guys, we ran behind those guys when we had to. Those are the guys you knew who were going to move guys off the ball. And when not having Mims, that's why I feel like we had to go to the toss because we couldn't run it downhill at guys. We were trying to play the numbers game, and you see us checking to the toss sweep because we had the numbers. They're in man coverage. And when you have man, the corner is going to be a little softer because he's chasing the crack in there. So they had the right call. It's just they didn't block them. One of the safeties came down and nobody wanted that smoke on that play, and the tackle had to pick him up, so the backer's free. So they played with the edge, and I felt like we were conservative, and we didn't take the punch to them on offense.
We all know this. The fastest thing and I hate to keep making excuses, but this has been an issue since fall camp. Like the fastest thing that can derail an elite football team is injuries. Georgia's been a banged up football team since day one, and Kirby said it. Like it was probably the worst camp that they've experienced with injuries. You didn't have your starting running back to start the season. You didn't have Ladd Ladd has been healthy the whole damn season. He's played maybe 3 or 4 games at like 80%. Brock has been out for a significant time. You've had offensive line guys banged up at significant time. You've had linebackers that have been out. And I get it. Like every team goes through injury issues. And we're going to talk about one right now with Florida State that lost their trigger guy and the reason why they're not in the playoffs. But I feel like Georgia's had more of the injury bug than any other elite team out there this year. I mean, they are a skeleton of what they could possibly be. And it's a big difference. It's a comfort thing, especially when you have some new pieces at some key position. If those guys aren't healthy and you're rotating more and more guys, it's just hard to build consistency or any kind of rhythm in a big game like this when you are matched up against other elite athletes and kind of bit them in the ass there. Any other big thoughts? I mean, I know Boykin said not overly impressed with Alabama. Ben, I was pretty impressed with their offensive line. I know there were some light boxes, but some of those double teams, I haven't seen Georgia defensive linemen be picked up and thrown around in a long time.
Yeah, that's when you have unexperienced linebackers behind them who's letting those combinations stay in there. I know when we're playing teams and we have backers who are sitting back there floating and not making that double team, we're going to run the ball all day long. If you're making them come out of double teams right away, it makes everybody one-on-one. If you let those big jokers sit in double teams, they can move anybody in the country. They can move NFL players. They can move anybody. you got to be the front seven's all got to work together. It's not just, hey, it's a D line, it's a backers. If all front seven ain't working together, anybody can run the ball on you.
TK, what do you think about their receivers?
I thought they played really well. All of them, great routes, and then obviously, especially Jermaine. You know, I talked about him a little bit last week. He's truly emerged into a guy that is a number one receiver. He's dependable. Runs the entire route tree and makes plays. He almost had another one in the end zone. Luckily, you know, it one hop to him, but just makes a lot of plays. But him and Isaiah Bond, both really good. Yeah, Isaiah Bond, kid from Buford, going to be really, really special. Is special for them, but going to be even more special for them in the future. So I think they've got some bright spots over there. Yeah, for sure.
Boykin, how would you kind of grade the DBs against those receivers?
I thought they played hard. I thought that was a very, very physical game. Like they were coming up making some real tackles, like some real hits. But in coverage, you know, like we talked about this one-on-one situations, man. You got to win those. And so, I personally feel like people were going at 6 late in the season, and they kind of went at him this game, and he's always in position. I'll say that. He's always in position, and it may be just an experience thing, but like, you know, those type of matchups are what people look for, and they ultimately cost you a game. And so I don't think that Bama's receivers were better than maybe. I can name 5 receivers that we played against this year that I felt like were equal to them, and Luther Burton was one of them, and we completely shut him down. So it's like that. There was nothing that they did that was just that they out-talented us, and it was better than our scheme. It was us.
Yeah.
We didn't show up. We weren't the aggressor. And I'm kind of like wondering if we were to have gotten into the college playoff by any chance. I think if we saw Bama again, I'll keep saying we would probably beat them by 21 points. But that's just not the case. We didn't show up when we needed to.
Yeah, if we would have had those 3 weeks to get healthy, woo-wee. I don't know if y'all saw this afterwards. TK may speak this a little bit more. Does anyone know, like, does Byrne have beef with Georgia or the fan base? I never knew like there was like this ill will. I know there's some frustration of why he left to go to Alabama.
Yeah,
but, you know, him kind of afterwards kind of taunting the fans a little bit. I was like, what? I don't know if there was like something deeper to it.
I think that's kind of just stems from the fans' beef with him. You know what I'm saying? For him leaving, but you know, I know the kid, great kid, good kid. But you know, just little antics right there, you know. So.
He's had some you know, after game antics the past 2 years where you're like, you say great kid, but then you're like, you know, that's 2 times now where I don't know him personally, but I don't know.
But
you know,
but you can imagine though, like you leave Georgia and you go to Bama, like I know his DMs and all time, and it was crazy.
In today's time, you can't imagine what's in his.
He's just being emotional after the game. I don't put too much into it.
Yeah, I would definitely categorize what he did last year as a little bit worse than the taunting. Yeah. But still, that was an emotional game too, and kind of everything. But still, no excuse for that. All right, well, let's kind of react real quick. Once again, appreciate everyone in the chat. I have over a couple hundred in there. Make sure you hit that like button. Show some support for our boys. We're gonna be hoping to get some content out. You know, our guys obviously are digesting the loss a little bit. They're not used to losing, as we're not used to talking about a loss. So I think they're kind of just soaking it in a little bit. So we're hoping to come and get a couple shows with the guys later this week. So we will keep you posted with our current student athletes and their shows at the University of Georgia. Playoff committee came out. Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, and then Alabama 4. Round the horn. Should Alabama be 4? Should FSU be 4? Should Georgia be in it? How do you view it of if you're in that committee, who you banging on the table to get into the Final Four? We'll start with Ben.
I always said you have to win your conference to be in. Like you have to win it. Then the next step is, I know if we'd have been sitting in Alabama's shoes and went and beat the number 1 team in the country, we'd have been like, we deserve to be in. Every Georgia fan would have been, why ain't we in? We just knocked the team off who's won 29 in a row. We are the best team in the league. So I understand why they put them in there. It's for, you got to think, TV ratings, money, that plays a part. Like, it's not always who's the most deserving, because I feel terrible for them FSU kids. Because you got to think, they won with backup quarterback and a third-string quarterback. That's what you call a team. Like, when everything hits the fan and they still found a way to win ugly in the ACC championship, and you win a rival game with your backup quarterback who gets knocked out, like, you got to give those kids a pat on the back. Like, I wish they would have just put those kids in, even though they would have got beat by 21 in the playoffs. Like, they deserve to be in, because what they went through, and they did everything. So you could looking back and like, if I'm a play for the ACC, I'm like, our conference don't mean anything. Like, we went perfect, we won. It doesn't. Is it style points? Do I have to win a certain way now? Like, what does it have to look like for me not to go in? But I know on the other side, if we'd have been Alabama, beating number one team in the country, I'd have been saying we got to be in. The SEC means more. That's what we'd have been saying. You play in the SEC, it means more. We should be in, because we play a different type of schedule. So that's my take.
Boykin?
Yeah, so like last night after the game, my initial reaction was that, like, you got to put Texas in, obviously, because they went to Tuscaloosa and beat Bama. But then you got to put Bama in because, yeah, they beat the number one team and going 29 straight. But, like, today I really do – I was talking bad about FSU yesterday. Like if they had this quarterback all year, they wouldn't even be ranked. They don't deserve it, yada, yada. But, like, yeah, they hit every criteria. They did everything that they needed to do to be in, right? And so it does suck for them. I feel bad for them, but it had to be somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I guess I think they can blame this on TCU. I really do. I think.
Yeah, but TCU beat Michigan last year. It's like everyone wants to focus on like TCU getting blown out by Georgia, but like let's not forget they beat Michigan. Like they got into the playoffs and won a football game that they were not supposed to win.
But that's the thing. They weren't supposed to win it. And we all went into that national championship knowing what we were going to get out of that, right? Like we knew what was going to happen. And so they're trying to avoid that again.
I know they're trying to avoid it, but like
Michigan didn't steal those signals. They didn't think TCU was going to be in.
Yeah, they didn't think that. I don't know. TK, I'll let you go, and then I'll get my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I saw your tweet, Murray. It's similar to yours. Like you can't. I'm with y'all boys. You can't justify putting Washington in and not Florida State in.
Yeah.
But along those lines with you, Ben, if the tables were turned and we were Alabama, you got to put Bama in. They've got to go in. So in my mind, I think it's I think they kind of got it right. In the realm of like what Ben said, TV ratings and things like that. That's how it's got to go. It does mean more. SEC does mean more.
All I know is I'm watching both games last night. Got the the YouTube double multi-screen going on, and it's halftime. Michigan's up 10-0.
Boring.
In a defensive struggle game. Florida State's up 3-0 against Louisville in an ugly, sloppy offensive game. It's like, why is Michigan being up 10-0 against Iowa so much better than Florida State being up 3-0 against Louisville?
I'm looking at how in Washington number one. They've played good.
That's possible too, 100%.
Yeah,
well, they've had like 7 one-score games as of late, but yeah, Washington's been impressive. Like, but I'm just saying, like we want to just nitpick the crap out of Florida State. We're like, man, that defense is freaking good.
They got big,
great defense. They got NFL receivers. They got NFL running talent than TCU. Way more talent than TCU.
Really, that could be a Cinderella story. Like crazy.
It couldn't have, and it wouldn't have. We were gonna get a bad product. We were gonna get a real bad product out of that FSU game, and we know it. And if they would have won big last night, they would have been in. They needed a statement.
I'm just saying that defense, Michigan's offense ain't anything special. I think Florida State's defense could have kept that thing a little bit closer.
Yeah, I mean,
and the quarterback that was playing last night for Florida State was not going to be the quarterback that was going to be playing in the playoffs either. That was their third string true freshman quarterback.
So, Buddy would have been back.
Yes,
he got better.
So yeah, that's kind of. I don't know.
But if
y'all.
there are any Florida State fans in here, y'all need to look on the bright side. Like the committee might have just saved y'all a couple recruits and everything, because if y'all got embarrassed on national TV in the semifinal game, it would have been bad for the program, man. Just ride this out. You know, next year you're gonna get 12 teams in. Y'all gonna be good. Y'all will be back. But they might have saved y'all for real, because we know what was gonna happen.
They don't.
with this new-
Even if they got blown out, who cares? The whole excuse from the coaching staff would have been, "We got blown out because we didn't have a quarterback." I still think that they're
That's why
good
not
enough
in.
all around at other positions to be a little bit more competitive than what TCU was last year. So that's my belief. Obviously, it didn't work out for them. Alabama's in. I was just like, should people be scared that Alabama's in? Or
Michigan
how would
seemed like they
how
were
would you
scared.
rank the teams right now? Let's do this. Like, there's 4 teams in.
Yep.
Michigan, Washington, Texas, Bama. Who wins? Like, who is the best team in that 4?
Washington.
Texas.
God, we're all over the place.
I got
If
Texas.
we see, yeah, I got
Whoever
Texas.
wins that game's going to win it.
Texas, much better team than.
I'm just worried about
Bama.
Washington's physicality. I'm worried about Washington's
Right.
physicality.
Yeah, and
They
that
stopped
matters.
working on their run game, whatever that was.
Yeah, but Oregon's so one-dimensional.
They beat Utah, who's physical.
Y'all don't think Bama wins this?
No.
I don't
No?
think so.
I'm
think
torn because like I don't think Michigan's gonna be able to score in Alabama.
I don't think they are either.
I think that's
I
an
think they
under
will.
if I've ever seen one.
I think they win it.
Michigan?
You
No.
think Michigan wins it?
I think Alabama wins it.
He thinks Alabama wins it.
I don't.
They
I
take-
kind of
they
think
take-
Alabama beats
They
Michigan.
do.
What'd you say?
If they play Washington, I think Washington can beat Alabama. I don't think Texas can beat Alabama twice.
I think Texas. beats Alabama twice.
Bama see a carbon copy image.
Texas is perfectly built to beat Alabama because they have a defensive line that can get after the quarterback, so they can stop them on defense, which they did in the first game. And they have an offense with 3 or 4 elite receivers that is with a talented quarterback. Like, Texas is the most complete team. Like, they can run the ball, they can throw the football, and they can stop the run. The one concern is stopping the pass. So if you can get through Washington, Michigan and Alabama can't throw the football. Like, that's your only Achilles heel. So, like, that's why I'm like, if Texas beats Washington, I think Texas ends up winning the national championship.
So if Texas win, do we claim them as SEC?
Hell yeah.
They was chanting it.
They're chanting it.
I'm good with that. Texas wins then.
But I say Bama can beat Washington because they got a carbon copy of. They see it every day. They see Jalen Milroe every day. Penix is a runner. They see that. So
Yeah, Penix a way better thrower than Jalen, though. And they got better receivers.
listen, bro. All right.
TK's feeling Bama right now. We'll stick on this. So we'll go with TK's. If Bama wins, does Saban retire after this year?
Heck no.
Really? I kind of think.
How old is
right
bro?
off? 72?
Is there kind of like rumor that he might?
I'm just saying, like, this was maybe one of his best coaching performances. You know, kind of right off into the sunset after one more natty before the craziness of the 12-team playoff gets here.
Nah, he ain't going nowhere. 72 though. That's up there, guys.
Because this one, they need him to coach a little longer so they can go get D'Amico Ryans in about 3 or 4 years. Because they'll go out and pay.
I don't think he got 3 more years in him though.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he retires. I'm not saying he retires after this, but I don't know about coaching until he's 75.
All right, so we'll go around the horn again. TK's got Bama. Boykin's got Texas. Ben's got Washington.
Yep.
Wow, I would have never thought Ben would be picking the passing football team. That's a little bit soft in the interiors. That's a surprise.
They won. They win.
They do win. They find like they if it's a close game, you may trust Washington more than any other team based on the way they've played the second half of the season. So, it'll be a good playoff. I don't think we're gonna get a blowout anywhere. So, to Boykin's point, way less likely of getting a blowout in one of these early matchups or in a national championship with these 4 teams. Yeah. These are 4 of the best 6 teams in America. Where does Georgia, after what we saw from Georgia this week, last one, I'll let everyone roll. After we saw from Georgia, if this was purely power rankings, where would you put Georgia?
If it was if it was just round, if you had 2 more weeks to play in the playoffs or regular season.
I'm just saying, like, if we're doing a power rankings right now, end of the season power rankings, like these are truly the 4 best teams in America. Where does Georgia land?
Well, I mean, you can only go based off of what you've seen. You know what I'm saying? What you've seen last. So I guess, I mean, based off what we did versus the number 8 team at the time in the nation, I'd probably put us at 5. I still think we're better than Florida State, but I can't say
you wouldn't say you think that Washington would be favored over Georgia, that Texas, that Michigan.
I mean, I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible because these teams are undefeated.
If it's your opinion, I'm just making sure that I'm hearing this clearly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we lost to the number.
I'm not
8
saying like
team.
where we should be ranked. I'm just saying like if there was a round robin of games, like this was a 12-team playoff and Georgia got in, like would Georgia, based on what you've seen, like do you think they're still a top 3 team talent-wise and they would take care of business first Washington, first Texas, first Florida State, first Bama, rematch, first Michigan?
If we play like we're fully capable of, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So where would you put them then? 3, 2 behind Bama since Bama beat them?
If we play like we're fully capable,
yeah,
then we would still be the number 1 team in America.
Jeez, I'm not going to Boykin. PK, you
not.
get what I'm saying. How would you rank if it was purely power rankings? Where does Georgia go?
Man, I'll probably put us in the 3 spot or 2 spot. Like we're fully capable of getting it done, bro. Again, like I think we alluded to earlier on in the show, we shot ourselves in the foot multiple times in that game. So I would put us, after seeing how we played, because if we're capable of doing that, I would say 2. So we could play to be number 1. There we go.
Ben, where would Georgia be? Power rankings, end of the season power rankings.
2, and Michigan's number 3. I don't think they played anybody. I don't think Ohio State's good. I don't think Penn State's good. Michigan's not good. They play boring football. They play nobody. I'm talking about, that's what I said. If you put Missouri in that conference, Missouri might win their darn conference. Like Missouri could have went out there and beat Michigan. I'm telling you. Missouri could have been in the Big Ten and won it this year. That's how bad the Big Ten is.
All right. We'll get a super chat, and even if it's a little negative. Alan Barry, Aaron, you have been wrong about Alabama for most of the year. I'm not sure I trust your opinion, my friend. Hey, go win it, buddy. Go win it. Go win it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, SEC West was kind of crap all year, so you benefited from that.
Yeah,
that's true.
Straight up, this was a down year for the SEC, and if we still win it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, if you win it, caps off.
SEC versus everybody. I hope. Go get it.
No,
are you going for Bama? Are you?
You really? Better not be.
You said Texas.
Really?
SEC. I think I'm switching to Texas.
Yeah, Texas is an SEC team, so
they chanted it after the game. They want to be in the SEC, so we claim them.
Yeah, I'm Texas, baby.
All right, that's what we going on the show. That's what we doing.
Right, brother.
We hooking them. Are we hooking them right now? Hook them then. Hook them there. Hey,
those girls' daughters are
on NTK. Jump on
them, baby. Hook them. All
right.
Well, we will keep everyone updated. Appreciate everyone. Once again, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. I think we got over 300 people in here live right now. Only 61 likes, so go hit that thumbs up. We appreciate everyone joining us here on a late Sunday night. We will keep you updated with some of our student athlete content coming out later this week, and then our updates on shows through the holiday season as Georgia gets ready to play Florida State. We'll have a lot to talk about that here the next couple of weeks, so we will keep you updated and see you next time here on the Players Lounge. Have a great one, everyone.